We're renovating this bathroom schlub style. We're doing it as cheaply as possible. However, we did spring for a new toilet. We got it on sale. It was about $108. It's makes water sense. It only uses about a gallon, 1.2 gallons of flush. Supposedly won't clog. Seems like a decent toilet for the money. So we're going to install it today. And with any luck, we should be able to poop upstairs in no time. And the first thing you want to do is scrape as much of the old wax off as you want, or as you can. It's nasty. I got a lot of the old ring off when I took the old toilet off, but there's still a bunch on here. I don't think you have to get too crazy with it, but I generally go too far with everything I do. So why should this be any exception? It does appear that there was some slight leakage here on the old toilet. Alright, the wax ring that came with the toilet bowl we're not going to use because it's just kind of a chintzy looking cheap wax ring. It probably would work, but we're going to go with a fluid master. No seep number 3. It's reinforced, and it has this funnel in it. And what this funnel will do is, if that toilet gets loose, it'll help keep it from leaking outside on the floor. Alright. Now, if you look at the flange, it comes up above the floor. Now, it's not perfectly level, but it's pretty close. So, we shouldn't need a thicker one. Now, this, which is a number 10, has more wax. So if you had a floor that you added in, like a ceramic tile, where this flange was below floor level, you'd probably have to use one of these extender wax rings. Alright, so now we're going to get the bolts and put them in. And come over here. Try to get in. Going. Okay, this house was built in 1978. It has the original PVC flange on it. One thing you don't want to do with cast iron or PVC or whatever it is you don't want to tighten these bolts so much that you crack the flange. I think there's repair kits for it, but you know what? We don't want to do that. That's something that probably would make a fairly easy project turn into a nightmare. So we're going to put these bolts in here. Put them little tabs down. Okay, here's our washers and our nuts. Now we're going to take our wax ring and peel all this back. Okay, and now you go over to the toilet and you stick the wax ring on like so. And I like just to wiggle it a little bit to help try to get it seated. Okay. Now, as you can see, you want to try to just center it with the outlet of the toilet. Okay, and as this pushes down, the theory is the wax really won't have to do much sealing against the water at all. The funnel should kind of funnel it all into the drain pipe. That's why I like the wax rings with this funnel built in. Because otherwise it's all up to the wax to do the job, and yeah, it probably worked, but you know, for the $5 or whatever this wax ring costed, it'll help me sleep better at night, and that's worth a lot to me. Alright, here we go. Okay, the toilet's down. Now I haven't pressed it down all the way yet. As you can see, the bolt's lined up there, and it's lined up over here. Now, there's still a pretty good gap down here. So what you kind of want to do sort of wiggle the toilet back and forth to help that gasket seat. Okay. We're going to hope that it's seated. Next step is to put the bolts on. This is really where you could screw up and do a lot of damage. Worst case scenario, if you tighten them too much, you can crack the flange. You don't want to do that. Second worst case scenario, if you tighten them too much, you crack the toilet. I'd much rather crack the toilet than crack the flange. So you don't want to tighten these very tight. It's just kind of a feel. You just kind of gently. You want to give them more than finger tight, but you don't want to go nuts on them. Remember, you could always tighten them up later. If you get them too tight and you break something, you're screwed. Okay, now I'm going to sit on the toilet and have my 200 pounds kind of help seat it. That's a pretty good deal on a lawnmower. Okay, now I'm going to sit on the toilet and have my 200 pounds kind of help seat it. That's a pretty good deal on a lawnmower. Okay, now, since I've sat on it, I noticed the bolt on the right side loosened up just a tad bit, so I actually was able to tighten it down a little bit more by hand. I'm just going to give it about a quarter turn on each side. That toilet seems like it ain't going anywhere. Alright, that was the hardest part. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is fill the toilet bowl up with water. Run some water down. 1, just to make sure there ain't any obvious leaks right off the bat. 2, because we need a water seal because we don't want to get sewer gas in here. Hey, you could turn this into a bidet if you really wanted to. That'd be awesome. I always wanted to try one of those, but... Okay, there obviously ain't any water running out on the floor, so that's the first sign that it looks alright. The next thing to do is to put the tank onto the bowl. Okay, here's our toilet bowl. Here's the gasket for the tank to bowl connection. Just kind of fit that down on there. And I've got some bolts in here for it. Okay. Tank sits on there like so. Okay, the bolts that secure the bowl and the tank together have metal washers. Then you want to put a washer on each one, a rubber washer. This will help keep water from inside the tank from leaking out. But you don't want that. There we go. That's what they should look like when you want to get them ready. And you simply just drop them in. Okay. Now we have another rubber washer and a metal washer. Now I'm going to have my assistant push down on top of the bolt inside of the tank. While I push these on here. Okay, now I have the toilet tank mounting bolts fairly snug. There's some play in here, so now you want to get it so it's fairly even with the wall, and you don't want it sitting cocked where it's going to press up against the wall, so you just want a little bit of distance through there. And once again, when you tighten these bolts, you don't need to go nuts on them because you could crack the bowl or the tank.